way better to have a simple to update website that's changeable, like straightforward, simple, communicates your message, but it's easy to update and change over time as things change, than something that's super nice and polished, but then it's really hard to change over time. And so
Yeah.
it's, because I used to be marketing agency. John was one of my clients back in the day. And at the time, I would really like talk down on things like Wix and Squarespace. And at the time, they were really rough, and there's a lot of issues with them. But now they've worked out the kinks, and it is so much better for you as a business owner to be able to jump in, make those changes on the fly than it is for you to have the super fancy website.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I think that's at all stages of business. I don't think that will ever change, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's even better like as a new business, right? Because like we're an LLC, that's it. Like we are Ascent Roofing and Exteriors LLC. We don't necessarily have that like name brand built up in our community yet, but where people are like, oh, we recognize your logo. Oh, that's Ascent. Oh, that's Nicole with Ascent. We don't have that brand identity yet. And so we're still figuring that out. So having that like ability to, oh, we want to tweak this, or oh, we want to change this a little bit, like jump in there and change it on a Saturday morning before your kid wakes up. Like that's what we need. And that's what works for us. And that's not necessarily works for everybody, but I have those skills. I have that time. I have the ability. And as we are learning who we are as a company and getting ourselves out there in our community, it's going to be ever changing.
Yep.
Yeah,
Let me tell you, it gets really expensive if you've been in business for a long time. I'm like, oh gosh. And it's been just a nightmare with that for me this year. Yeah. And you need to be unique. You need to be very confident in your brand, the logo, the name. I know people are going to understand who Nicole is with Ascent, but like there is a confusion level when you have Ascent for a long time and you switch, or you have Delaria Roofing for a long time, and then you have Peach Roofing. Like, so that's one of my regrets is I didn't have the time to plan the brand out so that it could be, the color palette. I'm like looking at my van. I just got my van wrapped. I'm looking at like the color palette's different. It's way more recognizable than everything that's in both of our markets. It's just something that as SEO changes, as all the PPC, all paid everything changes, the brand part is becoming even more important and valuable because it's like you have to stand out. And that's why I just spent $9,000 on a freaking van wrap.
Yeah.
Because it's like, and we just did
need to do that
two
too.
That's one thing I actually regret too. I regret just doing the vinyl for a long time. I'm glad I didn't do it with the old brand, but I wish I'd had an amazing brand and I fully wrapped the vehicles, because they think that we have 100 vehicles now.
Yeah.
Because of the wrap trucks. And it's like, oh, well, that's way better than a billboard. And and people see us all the time. It's super easy to read. It is definitely, I'm seeing this trend. I think it's going to get even more like this. People are not going to be able to afford the pay to play. They're just not. Most people like us are not going to be able to pay. You have to be way over 6 or 8 million in revenue with a huge marketing budget to be able to compete in that world. So the way you compete is by having really good branding in the physical world.